I'm so frustrated with people. It's really hot today. I could punch some of these people in the face. And I'm not generally a violent person.
You never know it listening to this podcast.
I know. I'm really not a violent person.
Let's reel it back in and we'll Portions of this podcast are made possible through generous donations from patrons like @LonelyBob and Big Al V. If you aren't a patron yet and still want to help, you can like, comment, or subscribe and help the podcast grow.
Welcome to the Vicis Interimo 30 Minutes to Kill podcast.
So we're ready to do episode 262.
Wow.
The Visit. By M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah. Well, you are listening to the Vicis Interimo show.
We're doing everything backwards.
30 Minutes to Kill, more or less. A horror suspense podcast. A horror entertainment podcast. Boy, this is going to be lots of edits in this one.
Did we mention it's a heat wave today? Our brains are cooked.
A horror entertainment show featuring horror, suspense, and psychological thrillers. You can find us on iTunes, Stitchers, Podomatic, and more. Just type in VICIS INTERIMO. I am your host, Michael Mad Saxon Jones, here with my lovely wife and co-host, Lori. We generally have 4 segments to each show. A Laid to Rest, where we recap old and any loose ends that are laying around. We review our movie, which, as I've said earlier, is going to be The Visit. And then we have Garbage In, Garbage Out, where we talk about anything that we may have read, seen, or heard over the past week. And sometimes we end with a crawling chaos, a topic or a factoid that we have never talked about on the show before, sometimes silly, sometimes serious, most always chaotic. Hello, Lori.
Hi.
And what do you have for Laid to Rest? Anything that you felt like you needed to cover again from last week's show, 10 Cloverfield Lane?
I can't think of anything.
No? Okay. Well, thanks to Lonely Bob for pointing out that another podcast actually had an interview. So I think I included that with our show notes, or actually included that on the
an
Facebook.
interview with what? With people who worked on it.
Yes, with people who worked on Cloverfield. See, now you're doing
cool.
Now you're doing it to me.
Yeah, putting you on the spot.
That's right.
Don't talk about things you haven't researched yet.
Why? That would be somebody else's podcast then.
I know. I'm sure you knew what it was, but you've just forgotten.
Well, like you said, it's 100 degrees in here, so.
Yeah, this can't be healthy.
No, it sure isn't.
Spending all day in this kind of heat.
No.
I feel like I have a fever. Okay. So what else did we talk about anything else in the last episode that we need to wrap up or revisit?
I don't think so. It was pretty much just the fact that we are on Podomatic these days, and while we're not looking for anybody to pay our bills, we're certainly happy to have additional support paying for things such as headsets and podcast hosting sites and things like that.
Yes.
Having said that, though, I am on a new computer, so we should alleviate some of those technical problems that we've had up to this point.
Hallelujah.
That means no double and triple recording of episodes. At least that's what I'm hoping. At any rate.
Hey, and our new Patreon dealio, the beginning tier is only $1.
This is true.
$1.
$1, $3, $5, $10, you name it, all the way up to those fantasy level rewards.
Oh, well, we won't talk about those. Those are just embarrassing.
Anyhow.
But hey, if someone's got $1.
Yep. I got you $1.
Why am I picturing that? I was gonna say, why am I picturing that Geico commercial? I got you $1. Gotta be quicker than that.
Let's get into talking about The Visit.
Every day it's a getting close.
Are you holding my camera properly? Swerve, girl.
Stop, both of you!
Yours will surely come.
Hi, Mom. My parents asked if their grandchildren could visit them for a week.
Here we are. This is where our mom grew up. I've wanted to spend time with you for so long.
Miss you guys!
Mom, we're having a great time.
I have not seen your Nana this happy in years. Bedtime here is 9:30. It's probably best you two shouldn't come out of your room after that. See you in the morning.
9:30?
9:30.
What is that? It's 10:47.
We think there's someone outside the door. What the hell was that? I think Nana's not feeling well.
Grandmother is fine. It's like somebody talking in their sleep.
What's he doing? They're weird during the day.
They're just cleaning it.
And even weirder at night? Mom, there's something wrong with Nana and Papa.
They're just old. Bear with it for a couple of days.
Nana, are you okay? They're hiding something.
It's just the end of your trip.
I'm sad it's all over. I'm gonna get you.
Let's make it a perfect night.
What is that? Mom, you need to come right now.
Would you mind getting inside the oven to clean it?
Stop! Nana, stop!
Okay, well, The Visit, as you mentioned previously, is a M. Night Shyamalan creation, which I'm always very excited when I hear that.
You know, I think he gets a bad rap, and it's cool to
Yes.
hate, and a lot of people are.
I love him, and I love everything he's ever done.
Everything.
There were strong ones. There were ones
Okay.
that were not as strong, but I appreciate his storytelling.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Well, in this one, when a single mom sends her 2 youngsters on a week-long visit to their grandparents' isolated Pennsylvania farm, the kids soon realize that their hosts are engaged in some dark doings, and the vacation turns into a nightmare.
Well,
And it was like the most awesome trailer ever.
yes, it was.
Remember when we used to do Rate the Trailer?
Yes.
We don't do that anymore. This is a 10 trailer. The trailer is a 10.
We only do a 1 to 5 these days.
Well,
But
it's a 5 then.
okay.
The trailer had everything in it.
So
Did the movie deliver?
yes, I think it did.
I think it did too.
There's a couple of caveats in there and stuff, but they're minor, and I'm just going to spoil it by saying that anybody that's listened to probably more than 2 of our podcasts, I would recommend you go see this movie. Go
Yes.
see it, that you would rent it or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go see
At
it.
this point, it's
You could go to a friend's house, I guess. Go see it with
Sure.
a friend. Yeah.
yeah, I'm really excited. I really like this one. We've done several movies, each one kind of being a little bit better. This is the height of those 5 or 6 movies that we had on our list to talk about, I think. Not for gorehounds, but there
no.
are some disgusting and disturbing scenes.
Yes.
First thing that I want to tackle here, and this almost is a laid to rest, but I think I kind of went off on a tangent last podcast trying to talk about technology and modern technology in films being addressed and winding up with lots of found footage type stuff. This is another one of those movies with not found footage,
right?
But you know what I mean, working real life stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, you want to talk a little bit about the story? Like, how is it that it came to be that?
Well, it's because the young girl in the story, on her way to her grandparents, is filming, and with the help of her little brother, filming the whole episode, the whole vacation, the whole visit. Yeah, she's filming the visit.
The visit.
And, yeah, so with interesting results.
And she's doing it she chose it as a project, kind of like, she's sort of a budding documentary host person, creator.
Documentary.
Yes, and her mom, they'd never met their grandparents before because their mom had a falling out with her parents, back quite a few years back. So there's that. You've got some things that are, and so I think the daughter, she's bright and creative and decides that she's going to document this. And
it made sense. And by the time, without ruining anything, by the time you got to the end,
corny, huh?
No, but I mean, by the time you got to the end of it, the real point here is by the time you got to the end of it, it made sense why the movie exists, how it exists, and all of that. Just quickly going like,
that's good. That's good that you're being...
because, Blair Witch, okay, how are we watching this movie if the kids drop their... just for example. And I'm talking about the Blair Witch, the original.
Well, you never know. I mean, it's in the name, found footage. Maybe everybody croaked and someone said, hey, what's this camera doing sitting here? Let's check it out.
Maybe so. Now you got your Cloverfield. Anyhow, this one made sense, and that's what I appreciated. It did get a little bit on my nerves. Like, I'm ready to see a straight movie. I'm ready to see one without resorting.
Wait. What got on your nerves?
The filming.
The way it was. Okay.
Just a little bit.
I gotcha.
It took me out of the story just a little bit. I love the movie. I think it's great.
Oh my gosh, it didn't for me at all. And I'm.
Usually you're the one that's distracted by things such as that.
I'm the found footage hater person. Running around with your camera and swinging it around and, oh my God, like, oh, please, I can't do this again. It totally didn't come off as like that. I mean, there were parts where the camera was just sitting in the corner of the room to tape a conversation or...
Right.
I don't know.
All those things made sense. Well, I was thinking you were distracted by little things like...
And I liked the parts... I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I liked the parts where, they're like, Grandma and Grandpa are acting a little weird. So she's kind of trying to, she wants to film them, but she kind of doesn't want them knowing she's filming them. So it's like she's got her little brother, go out there and just, act like I'm filming you doing something. And so it's like the brother is there and I'm playing with a ball, I'm doing kid stuff. And the girl, the whole thing was funny to me.
Sure.
I mean, it's funny, but still I had that whole unsettled feeling though, what is going on? And they're going to catch them. But there was just a lot of moments that I thought were really well done. And the way that the camera was used.
Right.
It wasn't just straight, somebody walking around with the camera, bouncing along and, Yeah,
I do know.
I thought it was done very creatively.
I think so too. And like I said, all in all, but just a little bit of it took me out of the movie, just a little bit.
That's sad.
But only a minor, you know what I mean? It's the same way you were annoyed with Hook's earrings on,
oh no.
Once Upon a Time.
Let's hope it's not the same thing.
Okay. Anyhow, moving along, back to the movie.
Yes. How was the acting?
Acting was superb. Everybody was great all the way through. And I want to talk more about the story I want to talk about, without giving anything away, that there were not jump scares, there weren't startle scares, but there were genuinely creepy feelings throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And a couple of, I can't call it a jump scare, but I was bewildered by what I heard and saw on the screen, and it took me a while to process it. It caught me off guard. I guess that's my point.
I was going to say there were a couple startling moments that might have made people jump. I mean, it wasn't just blatant in your face, like, okay, it's nice and quiet, and now we're going to